the cabinet is meeting at Sefako Makgato, the guest house of the president, to discuss a number of issues such as land expropriation without compensation. But remember, Sean, that the president made an announcement last week that there will be land expropriation without compensation in the country, particularly that the ANC is looking to amend Section 25 of the Constitution to permit land expropriation without compensation. After that 54th National Conference resolution of the African National Congress, we spoke to the Minister of Communications, Nomvula Mokonyane, who speaks on behalf of Cabinet of South Africa. She says that the issue is part and parcel of the economic stimulus package that is being discussed in the Cabinet Lekgotla, saying that the Minister Nhlanhla and the Minister of Finance tabled a detailed report this morning looking at how a land expropriation without compensation can be rolled out.
So where are we now in terms of land expropriation without compensation?
You'd remember that there were those provincial parliamentary hearings taking place in all provinces, which just concluded this past weekend in the Western Cape. So it looks as if the ANC is saying that the people, their people in their majority, along with the economic freedom fighters, have voiced out their opinion in saying that indeed Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended. The ANC come out saying that they are going forward with amending Section 25 of the Constitution to permit for land expropriation without compensation, but that has come with a mixed message from many political commentators, such as Dr. Lekgotla, saying that the current ramifications of Section 25 of the Constitution does allow for land expropriation without compensation, provided it's for public use. So there seems to be a misunderstanding when it comes to the interpretation of the current Section 25 of the Constitution. But on the other hand, if you look at how the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, is going about this, he's going about it, and basically he announced last week what the ANC has already resolved on at its December 54th National Conference. The only confusion came about because the ANC had a two-approach to this prolonged issue of land expropriation without compensation. They were saying they were going to test the current provision of the Section 25 of the Constitution at the Crown Court. You remember the former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moswaneke has been saying he's been itching for government and for anybody to bring the current issue of land expropriation without compensation to the Crown Court so that it can be tested. And yet again, the ANC went and voted with the economic freedom fighters and all other predominantly black political parties in the National Assembly to amend Section 25 of the Constitution in those public hearings that have been rolled out within all 9 provinces that have been ongoing for the past 6 months or 7 months, if I am not mistaken. But at this point in time, it looks as if the government is going ahead with amending Section 25 of the Constitution. The Department of Rural Development and Land Affairs, we are told by Minister Nomvula Mokonyane, has made available pieces of land which they will be rolling out to the people in order to pursue this issue of radical redress of the land question.
And what's happening to the land audit? Because people have seemed to have forgotten mentioning that or keeping an eye on that.
The issue of the land audit, Shahan, you'd remember back in 2012, going to the ANC's 53rd National Conference in Mangaung, Gugilan Quinty, the then Minister of Rural Development and Land Affairs, tabled a motion or a white paper where the state would own 50-50 of the land. That white paper was then shelved by the government of the day, and the land audit, if my understanding, has been tabled to the National Assembly. Various political parties do have that land audit by the Department of Rural Development and Land Affairs. It's not yet clear how much land is in the hands of the state, how much land the state actually knows itself that it holds and controls, and how much land is in the hands of the private or the public private sector.